This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We're spending the hour with Dr. Paul Farmer, who is co-founder of Partners in Health, university professor at Harvard University, runs the Global Health Social Medicine Department of Harvard Medical School, and has just written a new book called Haiti After the Earthquake. Paul Farmer is also the Deputy UN Special Envoy under President Clinton, which brings me, Paul, to President Clinton. President Clinton, the UN Special Envoy to Haiti, shortly after assuming the position, publicly apologized for forcing Haiti to drop tariffs on imported subsidized U.S. rice during his time in office. The policy wiped out Haitian rice farming, seriously damaged Haiti's ability to be self-sufficient. Clinton apologized in March 2010 at a hearing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
Since 1981, the United States has followed a policy until the last year or so we started rethinking it, that we rich countries that produce a lot of food should sell it to poor countries and relieve them of the burden of producing their own food. So thank goodness they can lead directly into the industrial era. It has not worked. It's maybe been good for some of my farmers in Arkansas, but it has not worked. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that I was a party to. I am not pointing the finger at anybody. I did that. I have to live every day with the consequences of the lost capacity to produce a rice crop in Haiti to feed those people because of what I did, nobody else.
That was President Clinton in 2010. You were already working under him as Deputy UN Special Envoy to Haiti. Did you write some of those words? Did you influence what he has to say? And talk about the significance of this.
Well, I would have been proud to have written those words. And I felt a sense of great relief just at hearing him say that. I did not, however, write those words. And I just would go back a little bit to the work that I've been lucky enough to do with him. It's almost all been healthcare work, mostly in Rwanda, Malawi, Lesotho, and setting policies. We were going to start in Haiti, and this is in 2002. He had launched the Clinton HIV/AIDS initiative, which is now the Clinton Health Access Initiative, which is basically to move forward access to health care for people living in poverty. And focuses, it started out around AIDS, but it was never anything other than to move forward this broad, comprehensive model of care that we use at Partners in Health as well. So our work was really around health care. And in 2008, he was in Rwanda to break ground on what was, I'm happy to tell you, is a beautiful new hospital in northern Rwanda on the Ugandan border. It actually was the site of a military base, so it's kind of the ultimate in swords into plowshares. You should come and visit. So he was there, but he was talking a lot about Haiti in Rwanda. And right after that, the second of 4 storms smashed into Haiti, and I was down there. And this is about the time we started talking about working together more in Haiti. So by March, when he made those comments, we had been spending a lot of time together, a little bit before and of course, after the earthquake. He was there in Haiti or working on Haiti every day. So when he said that to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I had just done testimony there maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier, in which I argued again that we have not just to build Haiti back better, but to build foreign assistance and humanitarian, the machinery back better. I was watching as he said that. Anyway, just one other thing I want to say while we're on the topic. In Rwanda, I once asked a friend of mine, how come you guys like President Clinton so much? After all, he was president in 1994. Which is the lowest hour of their existence for sure. And this friend of mine said, well, because he said he was sorry. And that was instructive to me.
The genocide took place, and they wouldn't invoke the word genocide, so it didn't trigger all the international
he
ways of dealing with
apologized,
it.
and I think there's something really, I don't want to say refreshing. It's too big an issue to use a word like that. But that candor around the rice subsidies, I think it's healthy. And I feel grateful for it as an American,
so
too.
He was criticizing his own neoliberal policies, right, of this flooding of the country with rice from the United States, and then that wipes out the farmers. They come into the cities, they're looking for jobs, and then you have the situation of assembly factories, of sweatshops, and, you know, lowered wages. But taking it through to today, if these policies are changing, especially around aid after the earthquake, just a few days ago, we had on Isabel McDonald and Isabeau Doucette, who are two women who are writing for The Nation magazine about what's happening in Haiti today. And I wanted to ask you about their investigative report that takes a critical look at the Clinton Foundation's first Recovery Commission project in post-earthquake Haiti, the construction of shelters in the city of Léogâne. The report reveals the shelters turned out to be a series of trailers beset with problems, including mold, shoddy construction, in one case worrying levels of formaldehyde. The trailers are also built by the same company, Clayton Homes, that's currently being sued in the U.S. for providing formaldehyde-laced trailers for residents displaced after Hurricane Katrina. This is Isabel McDonald, one of the authors of the report on Democracy Now!
We've been requesting documentation of any bidding process from the Clinton Foundation, and we have not gotten documentation. We know that they were built by Clayton Homes, which is currently being sued in the United States for exposing Hurricane Katrina survivors to injurious levels of formaldehyde, which the plaintiffs in this FEMA formaldehyde lawsuit claim came as a direct result of them residing in trailers that Clayton Homes had sold to FEMA. The Clinton Foundation has not answered our questions about any due diligence that was done. We know that trailers are considered a liability in the United States. In the case of a hurricane, FEMA tells Americans to evacuate trailers. And so the real question is, how did Bill Clinton think that this would be acceptable in Haiti to provide these trailers as hurricane shelters, to buy them from a company facing this kind of lawsuit over formaldehyde? And what does it say about the reconstruction efforts in Haiti if the very first project approved by the commission that's supposed to ensure accountability and transparency in Haiti's rebuilding passes this kind of project? And Bill Clinton himself has his hands all over it, and he is the co-chair of this commission that is supposed to ensure that Haiti is built back better.
Isabel McDonald of The Nation magazine. Dr. Paul Farmer.
Well, I would make a couple of points. First of all, I don't know that that's the first project approved by the Commission.
One of the first, I said.
Or even that. I mean, I'll tell you about my own experience first in looking at shelters in Léogâne, and I haven't seen these ones. But when I went there, actually with President Clinton a couple times, I was just stunned at how flimsy the temporary shelters were. I wrote about this, not in a, I hope, in a mean way in the book that you've read, just to say this is it. This is what the shelter experts can give us. They were, first of all, I speaking the language, hears something very different from what President Clinton hears, which he is mediated through translator. Once in a while I end up being his translator, which I find kind of stressful. But usually, if I'm lucky, I can just hang back and listen to what people are saying and then distill that later on and share it. So I went on this trip and was looking at the shelters, and there was a woman who was kind of on display as here's someone who's benefited from our shelter. It had nothing to do with the Clinton Foundation, or we were visiting a formally approved, and when I say formally approved, I mean by so-called shelter experts. And what it was a bunch of 2x4s with white plastic sheeting around them and a tin roof. And I just had to say, this is it. This is what the experts are giving us. And one other thing is about the commission, just to go back to the journalist's point. This commission was stood up against, really against the prevailing undercurrent of the way things get done in Haiti. It was an attempt and I'm not formally part of the commission, so I'm saying as an outsider who's a fan, the idea was to have some way of coordinating all of these crazy actors that are people of goodwill, no doubt, but they're not coordinated in Haiti. Again, in the book, I compared this. This is quite a contrast to Rwanda, where it's mandated. So I think the story, which I'm going to look into, is really. I'm glad that the Clinton Foundation would try and speed up this process in Léogâne. I think that the ones I saw, the temporary shelters I saw, were certainly not robust by any description.
Talking about formaldehyde tainted. The company Clayton Homes, which by the way is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, they are the ones we know well from Hurricane Katrina, where all these lawsuits are happening around those, and now they're in Haiti. And I guess it's that question that you raised very well in Haiti after the earthquake, through Haiti's history, of who is in control, who is profiting, and who gets to make the decisions. And we'll leave it with that question. We only have about 45 seconds for you to answer.
Well, I think that it's important to understand that reconstruction is going to require a lot more investment in the Haitian public sector, certainly around education and healthcare, but also in focusing on job creation for Haitians, which would, I hope, help steer resources into Haitian firms. And I know that's something, actually, that President Clinton very much would like to see himself.
How does that happen when the people so often feel excluded?
You got to change the rules of the game in development assistance and reconstruction. These are rules that are set in a way that automatically is a disadvantage to, for example, if you just change the rule to you have to have X number of the jobs reserved for Haitians, you have to have X number reserved for Haitian firms, that would be a good thing. That would be a change in the rules.
Dr. Paul Farmer, thanks so much for being with us. His new book is called Haiti After the Earthquake. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.